Have the two winners for this cycle already been picked? Is it Hyperliquid? Is it Ethereum? Is it both? We're going to give our take on that. Hyperliquid, it's like they know the game. They have every single major stablecoin issuer running to them for a proposal of the new USDH stablecoin. We have Ethereum and Fidelity, and why Ethereum continues to be chosen as the blockchain of choice for stablecoin and infrastructure. We're going to talk about what Russian emissary, I don't know the name, the guy who's friends with Vladimir Putin, said the only reason the U.S. is pushing crypto is because of this. We're going to talk about that. Also, WorldCoin absolutely explodes off of news of a treasury. I've been talking about this. We gave it to our Patreon members. I'm going to ask Rob what his thoughts on his top 3 next treasury plays could potentially be. We're going to get an update on the Fed. What can we expect? Bitcoin saw a little bit of a rally, teeting around that $112,500 level. Is it next leg up or next leg down for BTC? We'll look at some flows from last week. Also, we have an updated list of when all the crypto ETFs have their final deadline. And first up, it's going to be Litecoin. What will happen? Doge is rallying, Pengu's rallying. You're starting to see maybe little glimpses of altcoin season. We're going to talk about that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. We take old, boring, and stale information, repackage it all up in an amazing, fun, Vegas kind of way.
How do you repurchase it? What?
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain thing that happens. And after this thing happens, my wife starts talking Chinese. I don't know.
I zero idea.
I'll tell you after the show.
Hit
all right.
Hit a jackpot at the slot machine?
No. Well, she hit a jackpot, all right. You know what I'm saying? Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, want to give a big shout out. Today's my son's birthday. Liam, happy 11th birthday, son. I love you. He wants to go to Hell's Kitchen for dinner tonight. I was like, all right, done. That's where we're going. So, shout out to my son, 11th birthday, big day. All right. How was your weekend, by the way? Did you have a good weekend?
I did, man. Did.
You look a little swole today.
Just, getting my reps in, baby.
Hell yeah. That's not what I meant, but it's crazy. You know, interesting weekend. Boring price action. We didn't really, usually Saturdays and Sundays we see volatility in Bitcoin specifically. We didn't really get that, right? Kind of teeter around 110, 111. Saw a little bit of a rally this morning. We'll talk about whether we think it's going to continue to go up or it's going to be just another pullback down to that 108 to 112 level. So let's start here with some stats, facts, metrics, and statistics. Flows by assets from CoinShares. Remember the week before, Rob, I showed you, and it was literally flipped opposite, where Bitcoin was negative $1 billion and Ethereum was positive 600 million. Well, it's flipped again. It's like a seesaw. Bitcoin, 524 million flowed in last week. Ethereum, 1 billion flowed out last week. Solana, 16 million, leading the altcoins, flowing in to the Solana ecosystem via institutions. XRP just slightly behind, with right around 15 million flowing into. Then you have a bunch of whatever, it's like zeros and 0.6, which brings our net to minus $352 million. Ethereum, after seeing $1 billion flow out, still holding fairly strong. We have some news here. Sailors back at it again. Strategies acquired 2,000, well, just shy of 2,000 Bitcoin for $217.4 million at an average price of $111,196 per Bitcoin. They now hold, as of September 7th, 2025, 638,460 Bitcoin acquired for $47.17 billion with an average price of $73,880. We also have this. On the flip side, whales continue to sell. They sold $12.7 billion worth of Bitcoin over the last 30 days, the largest sell-off since the bear market of 2022. And the last note here on this X post, and Bitcoin is still above $111,000. Now, before I get my friend Rob's take on this, I want to give you my take on our biggest channel sponsor, Stake.us. Bringing today's show. They've been a channel partner for the last 5 months and will continue to be a channel partner moving forward. And we're excited. You can play on their mobile app. The link is in the description of the video. I know I've said this every time I do it, but I got in contact with the CMO and the team over at Stake, and we're working on doing a private poker game where I'm going to drag Rob by his hands and feet into that digital poker room, and we're going to see finally who is the better poker player, me or Medium Rob. So you're going to need an account. Sign up for one now, and then when it's ready, we'll be able to play together. Big thank you to Stake for being a sponsor of the channel. Rob, Michael buying, whales selling, Bitcoin stuttering. What are your thoughts? The next leg, up or down? I did put in a short order on Bitcoin at 112.4. What are your thoughts, man? What's your You're a very sentiment-focused analyst, right? You pay attention to numbers, metrics, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you lean more sentiment than stats and metrics. I think you do a good balance of both. But what's your sentiment? What are you feeling? You think this is I know I'm throwing a lot of questions here. You think this run-up now is what to expect next week during the Fed meeting? Is this the market pricing in a maybe 50 basis point rate cut? What are your thoughts on the market right now?
All right. So the way I look at it is this. Two things are happening. One, we saw Bitcoin drop under 110 last week, right? And now currently over 110. You know, we're getting closer to that 115. So the way I am looking at this situation is pretty simple. The end of the month was the bottom for Bitcoin. The last day of the month, we were at 108. From there, starting September 1st, we've made progress, right? Away from the 108. And why am I bringing this up? Well, because Wall Street and futures and CME and the ETFs, they are all an integral part of Bitcoin's price. And so is it no surprise that we put in the bottom on the last day of the month and we've been making higher highs on a daily basis? Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing. So if you take a look here back on this is on the 1 month chart, it was not even a full month ago, 3 weeks ago, we set an all-time high. Bitcoin hit 124,000. Then a few weeks later, we took a little steam out of the market, dropped all the way down to 107.5. This was the last day of the month. And now, hey, here we are. Look on the 1 week. You can see that we're steadily making gains. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I've spoken ad nauseum about the altcoins waiting for Bitcoin to trade between, was it 115 and 120? Doesn't have to quite hit those exact numbers, but if Bitcoin just hangs out at 114, 115, you're starting to see altcoins perform very well. We came in, we're like highlighting Solana, XRP. Look at Solana and XRP here. Like you go down the list, and so you have XRP up 9% on the week. Solana up 9% on the week. Solana's up 6%. Also, very interesting to highlight here, you got Doge up 13% on the week. Could this be something to keep an eye on? Is maybe meme coins? Well, we went from 20 cents up to 23 cents on Doge this week. And then you look here, this is just on the 24 hours. You see that Doge went from 22 cents to almost 24 cents just in the last 24 hours. So we're starting to see the altcoins heat up. And I think it's simply because Bitcoin's getting closer to the 115 mark. I'm telling you, once Bitcoin clears 115, which I think is happening this week, because I think that we're coming off of that bottom, the local bottom for Bitcoin, which was 107, beginning of the month. And now it's just, hey, let's accumulate some value on Bitcoin, consolidate, and then take off on alts. Or we could just see Bitcoin take off. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin make a move. We keep testing that 120 range. You look here, you know, we were tapping 120 just over and over and over again. We broke through, that was 3 weeks ago, but essentially failed, right? We couldn't hold above the 120 range. And so could the next time we clear 120 send off straight to 130, 135? I think it's probable. I'll put it that way. If we break 120, I think we continue on. I think prior to us setting the all-time high, I said, hey, if we break 120 and we see 125, 126, I think we just moonshot straight past 127 to 128, 129 and go right past 130. And, well, we did put in an all-time high, but we failed to break the 125. So I think once you get into price discovery, if you've been around Bitcoin for long enough, you've been around crypto long enough, you know that sometimes you get these crazy big parabolic moves out of Bitcoin. And I know that lately we've gotten kind of stuck or used to it not really moving much as far as big swings to the upside, but it is in Bitcoin's nature to move up 10%. And so I could see a scenario where it goes from 115 to 125 pretty quickly, and then maybe to 135.
Dude, holy shit.
What's up?
Look at this. This is, I believe, the founder of Ledger. There's a large-scale supply chain attack in progress. The NPM account of a reputable developer has been compromised. The affected packages have already been downloaded over 1 billion times, meaning the entire JavaScript ecosystem may be at risk. The malicious payload works by silently swapping crypto addresses on the fly to steal funds. If you use a hardware wallet, pay attention to every transaction before signing, and you're safe. If you don't use a hardware wallet, refrain from making any on-chain transactions for now. It is still unclear whether the attacker is also stealing seeds from software wallets directly at this stage. What? Holy shit. The founder of the largest hardware wallet saying don't make any on-chain transactions right now. I just saw this, and so you're getting kind of my live reaction. I don't have any other input.
That's Ledger?
This is Ledger, bro, the chief technical officer of Ledger. Hardware wallet must verify every transactions. Others should avoid on-chain activity until patched.
I remember you went all in on Ledger.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you?
No, I did not. Tangem.
No, I'm saying, but prior to Tangem.
I was using Ledger.
Because I remember you were, what's the other hardware wallet, the other popular
Trezor.
Trezor, yeah. Because I remember Trezor had that issue. What was it? They had some feature they rolled out, and they forced
that was Ledger.
That was Ledger.
The recovery, you pay a month, and then they back up part of your seed phrase. Yeah, that was Ledger.
That was Ledger as well. Ooh.
Yeah, I moved all my stuff out of Ledger and I put it in Tangem. I love Tangem. That's my favorite hardware wallet. By the way, we have a link if you want to support the channel. Tangem, $60, get you 3 cards. Anyways, this is pretty concerning, my friends. So those of you that are active in the crypto ecosystem, maybe take a break for the next few days. I don't know if it's worth risking anything. So, man, this is, yeah. Any thoughts here? I mean, I don't have any other context to give you. I just saw this, but.
Yeah, it's
a scary shit, man.
Yeah, your dad said air gapped for the win. It's you got to think of it this way. Even your hardware wallets not connected to anything, somebody created it. It gets plugged in, and so things can get downloaded to that piece of hardware, not even being known.
Which is what you use now.
Yeah, you never know, dude. Honestly, like I wouldn't even hate on somebody if they just went the old school way.
Paper?
And so prior to the advent of these wallets, you had USB sticks and hard drives, right? And it was the kind of the go-to protocol was just to buy a cheap hard drive and then just move over your seed phrase to the hard drive and then just unplug it and then set it aside. I'm not saying that's the ideal way of doing it, but that's how the guys. Remember the guy that lost his Bitcoin in the landfill?
Yeah,
his on a hard drive.
Yeah,
the early days was hard drive, and USB sticks as well. But at the time, USB sticks were pretty light on the amount of data they could store, so most people just did hard drives. But honestly, like it might not be a bad idea just to go old school.
We're supposed to be moving forward, not backward.
Yeah, but as you add more tech, things that are seemingly not complicated become more vulnerable when you introduce more and more technology to them, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing to do is to if you're let's just say I was the biggest gold homer, right? Like I was like, hey man, gold. There's all these different products. Hey, you know what? We'll hold your gold for a gold tokenized, gold this. Sometimes the best thing to do if you're like a big gold guy is just to buy a bar of gold and put it in a safe. Now you can be robbed. You can have a break-in your home. Someone takes. Anyways, it's probably not the best way to do it, right? You want to have let's just say you had $10 million worth of gold. You're probably not want to keep it in a safe. But I wouldn't be that mad if somebody did. They were like, hey, man, you know what? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
I'm just saying I can't fault anybody for going rudimentary technology for their seed phrase, especially with all this crap, dude. It's not the first. It definitely ain't going to be the last on hardware wallets being compromised.
Yeah. Just be careful, man. Just be careful.
And if anything, no matter what wallet it is, no matter whether it's Tangem or Ledger or
never have everything in one wallet.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going at. Just diversify.
Once
it gets to a level that you find when you say, oh, that's a lot, split it up. Now, maybe a lot for you is $10,000. Maybe a lot for you is $50,000. I don't know. But once you get to that, I got a lot of money on this one. Split it up.
I'll just tell you what my threshold is. I never keep more than 20% of my entire portfolio in one place. Never. So those are the rules I go by. You don't have to go by those rules. But someone said it applies to exchanges. Funny enough, the exchanges are probably the safest place to have your money right now, correct?
I think exchanges are the safest place in the extreme short term.
For just this situation happening now.
Yeah. I would say, I know a lot of people always give heat to exchanges and keeping it there. You never know what's going to happen in the future. You never know if the government's going to try to seize whatever. Either way, if you're getting started, or if you have a family member getting started, I'm like, just keep it on the exchange, but just pick a reputable exchange, Coinbase or
I love Kraken. Kraken's my stuff.
Crypto.com. Keep it there until you're at least somewhat knowledgeable in the tech, and then when you feel comfortable, then move it around. But
yeah,
I always tell, because if someone just bought Bitcoin for the first time, oh, what do I do with it now? I'm like, okay, whoa.
Hold up, wait a minute,
slow down, because you can lose all of it if you take the wrong steps.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's move on. Let's start with Hyperliquid. Summary to the absolute scenes in the USDH wars happening right now. So this is posted by Stupif. It's a really good post. So if you missed it, everyone is fighting over each other to get the privilege of servicing the USDH. So here's the timeline. Hyperliquid posts that they will be releasing the USDH ticker for purchase, with validators voting to allow the best proposal to win. USDH being the native Hyperliquid aligned stablecoin. Immediately, proposals come in from Agora, which is with MoonPay, Layer 0, VanEck, State Street, Frax Finance, and many others looking to be the issuer of the Hyperliquid stablecoin. Paxos is the issuer of Binance's BUSD, putting it probably the strongest proposal, with 95% of interest revenue from reserves to buy back the Hype token. Note the irony of moving from Binance to Hyperliquid, by the way. Circle's CEO realizes 8% of USDC supply is on Hyperliquid, and realizes the fumble. Immediately announces native USDC support is coming to Hyperliquid, despite having a half a year head start and only doing the assignment the night before the due date. Hyperliquid is literally the top USDC holder. Just a few hours ago, Base and Athena Labs are committing to accelerate USDE on Hyperliquid. Market realizes that the $5.5 billion of stablecoins in Hyperliquid would generate an additional $220 million worth of buybacks for the HYPE token. The Battle of Giants, who wins? And then so look at some of these proposals, Rob, and they came in fast. Frax, USDH proposal update. We're establishing a Frax-led alliance. Hypercore ready, native issuance, Genius Align, 100% to Hyperliquid. Paxos said proposal submitted. USDH on Paxos would mean global issuance that is Genius compliant, revenue sharing that fuels hype, regulatory clarity, yada, yada. And then Athena Labs, with the homage to Eminem and Stan, said, Dear Jeff, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. And so anyways, it goes on. And so there is a race. You know what's interesting, Rob? You have, and I'm not picking on Cardano here. You have Cardano, who is looking at like, we got to pay X amount to bring USDC or USDT on chain. Then you got Hyperliquid, who these stablecoin issuers are fumbling over themselves to try to get their product into the Hyperliquid ecosystem. Rob, I have a poll up in the chat. Will Hyperliquid be the next $100 billion crypto asset? I want the people to vote. I want you to answer that question. And what are your thoughts on the direction of where Hyperliquid is going, Rob? Thank you.
How long has Hyperliquid been around?
Not long. I want to say a year.
And they already got full circle.
They are crushing it, bro. They are absolutely crushing it. They are crushing it. I am
like, here's the reality. Like, there are prime players, big institutions in crypto with backing from the likes of BlackRock and the U.S. government now.
CoinMarketCap, sorry to cut you off, Rob, was tracking it from the end of November. So let's just say October-ish, September, October, a year.
So the big boys, institution, the centralized players, they have the money to fuel this shit. And so the reality of it is...
Hold on, Rob, when you say that, do you mean like Circle and Tether, or do you mean like the Hyperliquid team?
I'm talking about big money, big corporations, institutions have the ability to, per venture capital, per influence, per their partnerships, per the centralized exchanges, put their favorite projects that they have the most backing in front of everyone, in front of institutions, and get the partnerships they need to make them grow. And that's why you see something like Hyperliquid go from nothing to arguably top competitor in its space in the span of a year. How far down the market cap list is Hyperliquid?
Number 12.
Jeez, I'm like scrolling way. God bless. Yeah, so I mean, it's number 11 on the market cap list right now here at the top. And so, I mean, from nowhere, I mean, things started at $6, so it's already 10x'd into the top, right outside the top 10. But basically, where I'm getting at is that a lot of people are always pushing this. Hey, we don't have any centralized backing. We don't have any venture capital funds. And
can I tell you something? No. Hyperliquid raised $0 in VC capital.
Oh, okay.
$0. It was community launched, community driven.
But there has to be, for it to grow this fast, it has to have backing from
no, it was
the
just
big boys.
A badass dApp that got adoption right away. Think of Bybit, but decentralized. I mean, you had like the Trump coin that came out, immediately got listed on Hyperliquid. It's shit like that drives the volume.
So you think this is it has grown naturally through decentralization.
Well,
and just
there's a
people
lot of
and
float.
natural adoption.
Well, there's a lot of float. Okay, so you have only 33% of its supply is circulating. It got airdropped to massive wallets, and a lot of those wallets have not, yeah. I don't know. It's just people are using it, bro. People are using it, and the model's working. So,
I agree with you. I still think there's some influence behind it.
well, yeah. I mean, you can.
Because how can these layer ones with full ecosystems with 5 to 8 years worth of track record struggle to make the progresses that Hyperliquid has had in just a year?
I think
In both market cap and stablecoin adoption.
here's the thing: you're a guy that's very practical. Okay, you're a very practical analyst. Okay, I think it's as simple as they made a project, they made a product that people are using. People are using it. I mean, you see it everywhere. Whales, retail, the average person, the James Wynn guy who's doing $200 million long positions, right? And now, with the addition of USDH and these proposals, the amount of revenue they're generating and will continue to generate, to say 100% of that is going to go to buy back the hype token, I don't know, man. I think 15, 17 billion is where it's at now, not fully diluted. Can that 5, 6x to 100? I think it can. Do you think it can?
I don't know, man. I think it's still so young. But then, I don't know, dude.
It's a tough one. This will go down, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Hyperliquid will go down as my biggest fade, I think, in my investing career. $13, I said, don't touch it. I was completely wrong. Can't hit them all the time, but that's one that's going to sting. I don't like to think about it all the time, but every time we talk about Hyperliquid, I'm like, God, I'm such a complete dumbass back then. But anyways, yeah. I am uber bullish on Hyperliquid. I don't know about buying it at $50. I mean, this thing has been running. 1 year, it's up 1,500%. 1 month, it's up 16%. 7 days, same. And just today, it's up 8%. If we can sniff $40 again, I'll be a buyer. But yeah, I mean, the FOMO was real, man. The FOMO was real. So I want everyone to vote. $100 billion Hyperliquid, yes or no? I have a poll up, please. I'm curious to get everyone's thoughts. Let's move on to Ethereum. Right, there's your first winner, I believe. Second winner, Ethereum. A Fidelity token built on ETH has been listed on RWA.xyz with a $203 million asset value. The token is set to represent tokenized shares in Fidelity's Treasury digital fund that invests 99.5% cash and U.S. Treasury securities. It's called the Fidelity Digital Interest Token. The theme here, Rob, is continue to choose Ethereum. The stablecoin supply on ETH has surged to an all-time high of $165 billion. Thoughts on ETH, Rob? Do you think this trend is going to continue? Now, do remember that we had the likes of Stripe and who was the other fintech platform that was launching their own layer one? Stripe, and it was something else. Anyways, you see cases where these large institutions are building their own infrastructure, and you see some like Fidelity who are choosing to build on Ethereum. If you were to look forward a year from now, 6 months from now, you think that trend continues maybe 50-50? You think it's skewed more towards Ethereum? What are your thoughts?
I don't know, dude. I think that...
Because my original thought was, why would you spend the time and money to create your own layer one? You have great L1s here that have deep liquidity, that have been around for a while, that have been proven and tested, but we're seeing that some. I
think what you'll see is a split. I just don't know how deep that goes. But the split is going to be institutions are still going to use ETH. I think the go-to is going to be ETH, right? But from a user perspective, for retail, for people that are moving money, like say I'm going to send money, I probably won't choose Ethereum because it's not the cheapest and nor the fastest. And so there's a lot of different options for me to use ETH, to send ETH or stable coins. And even you can use like Base. I know that is still in the ETH ecosystem, but the traditional way of sending stable coins through the Ethereum network from one address to the other, it's just not appealing for everyday user. That's where a lot of these layer ones and scaling solutions became very advantageous to use, because you're like, hey, why am I going to spend $30 sending a $100 transaction per the gas fees? Let me use insert protocol here, whether it's Polygon or now Base. So that's still going to be a thing, but I think that institutions and big players and even certain protocols are still going to use Ethereum just because of its security, right? Because it's just, you know, you don't want to skimp on that. So I think that divide is going to keep happening until Ethereum gets its shit in order, right?
What do you mean gets its shit in order? Like transaction fees?
Yeah, it's still not friendly, right?
So let me push back then. Then if the shit's still not in order, then why are the likes of Fidelity and BlackRock choosing to build on Ethereum?
Because you think about it this way, if you're going to move money for a big company, you're still having big fees attributed to those in the traditional.
So you're saying they're less
rails.
sensitive to fees?
Yes.
Well, what if Ethereum becomes the institution chain and Solana and the likes become retail?
That's kind of where I'm getting at.
So then at that
I
point,
think that
does Ethereum? But then at that point, does Ethereum need to get their shit together? Does it matter if it's a little slower? Does it matter if it's more expensive?
I was just saying that if they want to capture the retail, if they want to capture everyday transactions from normal people, they need to. If they want to just have a basket where they're like, hey, we're security, we don't care what the fees are, but we cater to these clients. Let me
ask you a question. If you were the leader at the Ethereum Foundation and you're seeing the market where it is now, where it's going, the trend, and what you're able to bring on your chain, would you focus your attention on bringing on more institutions and essentially taking that fork in the road where you're more institutional layer one, or would you try to make up on the retail
If
side?
I was at the helm of the Ethereum Foundation, I would simply say, hey, let's get the tech upgraded. Let's get the blockchain more efficient. Let's bring down transaction fees. Let's increase throughput. It helps everything. It helps your institution clients. It'll help you reel back in the retail. The thing is that Ethereum was absolute king and dominated all of crypto smart contracts when it first kind of hit the scene, or when it first was getting rolling on smart contracts back in 2020. And you had the likes of all the DEXs pop up, the Uniswap, which was very, very innovative, and we had never really seen anything like Uniswap, like a DEX like Uniswap prior to that. And so the king was Ethereum, but it just couldn't scale. So it's lost a lot of its dominance to the other layer ones, and even has been cannibalized by its own ecosystem with scaling solutions. And so the reality of it is that it is software, right? And software needs to be upgraded. We see it all the time. Your iPhone, your Windows, even a Mario game you have, you turn it on after a couple months, it's updating. And why is that? Because it's software. It needs to compete. There's technology around it is advancing. You need to keep up. And I know they have a roadmap. I'm not saying that they're just sitting there with their hands under their ass, but at the same time, come on, guys, your competition's moving. The likes of Hyperliquid that we just talked about it's taking market share from potential apps and dApps that could be on ETH. And it's just...
I think that's an interesting question, though. Would you focus more... I don't know, man. Okay, you say upgrade the tech, right? We know how long it takes Ethereum to upgrade. And part of it is because there's so much value on the chain that if you make one mistake, that can evaporate. Imagine, Rob, you're a hedge fund or you're a large institution and you have $200 billion of value that is inside the Ethereum ecosystem. would you be nervous if they came out and said, "Hey"?
But that's what you signed up for. If
just
if it's Bitcoin, you set it and forget it. But if you're going to create a layer one, you have to understand that technology changes, you need to evolve. And you either build it in from the beginning in preparation for updates. You can't just sit here and be like, well, we happened to build this thing a long time ago and it's not very upgradable, so it is what it is. Like that's not a good excuse, dude. Like Cardano, for example, was built with a lot of hard fork mentality from the get-go, right? They already knew that they were going to have to adapt and change as the needs and requirements of the world demanded it. And the thing is that the world is going to demand change from Ethereum, and you either do it or you don't. Because I'll just say, from the most extreme point of view, let me explain it this way. From the most extreme point of view, if you changed absolutely nothing on Ethereum from the institute, from the foundation level, right? Let's just say the roadmap completely stopped. 100 years from now, if nothing changed, there would be no chance it would prevail, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. Like it has to adapt. And so if on one hand you have the extreme 100 years, no chain, it's dead. On the other end, it's like, hey, like you need to figure it out. You need to stay competitive. It's software. It's just simple as that. If I gave you an iPhone and I said, hey, this iPhone that you have here, you're going to be stuck with the iPhone 14 for the next 30 years. In 10 years from now, you're going to be so outdated that you're not even going to be able to download any dApps or any apps on your phone, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, try to download an app with an iPhone 3. You're not going to be able to. You can send a text, but you're outside the loop now. That's how it's going to be with ETH if they don't get their shit together, dude. They're going to be outside the loop.
I don't know. I think their loop is to the side. It's an intriguing conversation. Big shout out to CP674 said, gave us $20, said, here's $20 because why not? Keep up the great channel. Thank you, CP.
Gracias.
674. Our I was looking at our revenue. Super chats have gone down a lot. You think it's because people's portfolios are down a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. We appreciate all the support, you guys. Thank you very much. All right. This is interesting. Rob, are you a romantic guy?
No.
No?
No.
Single ladies. This man is single, but he's not romantic.
I'm stubborn, yes.
Wow. Way to sell yourself, man. Way to sell yourself.
I mean, you asked me a question. I'll give you a legit answer.
Okay. Well, are you Gen Z?
I don't know.
Because half of Gen Z spends $0 a month on dating thanks to a romance recession. Why is that a clap? That's not a clap. Romance can't be dead, man. We need to bring romance back. Make romance great again. MRGA. Murga. Rob?
See, I like to do dates. I like to do dates. The things that I enjoy.
Okay. What are the top 3 things you enjoy on a date, Rob?
Well, I like going to
Applebee's.
You know what? I just can't do the chain restaurants, by the way.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The Applebee's, the
Chili's.
Red Lobster, and
Chili's.
all that other, I can't do it, man.
What about?
It's just like fast food, but it's probably even worse.
It's like medium food.
Yeah.
Not fast food, but not slow food. It's intermediate food.
Yeah. Those kitchens, they don't cook anything. They just
Reheat.
take stuff out of bags and heat it up.
So, anyways, what's your top 3 things you do on a romantic day?
That I do, or like, what are my top 3 destinations?
Let's say first date.
First date.
You got to do 3 things with this lady. Beautiful lady. Gorgeous. Funny. You've known her for 2 years. She's finally single.
So first date, first of all, I ain't gonna come out of pocket. You ain't gonna strip my pocket on
Hold on. You're gonna take a girl on a date and not pay for it?
No, I will pay for it.
Oh, okay. But it's not anything expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't take no girl on no expensive date on the first go. Like, yeah, don't. Basically, you gotta DCA into this relationship. You start off with some small buys, and then. So, anyways, I probably would go. There's a lot of nice places to get drinks. if she likes to have a drink, I would probably go to like a nice bar, like a speakeasy.
Vanderpump.
Yeah, you know what? I like more of a view, so I probably would go. There's a bar at the top of the Stratosphere. It's like, I forget what it is. There's one on top.
Just don't get stabbed
Resort
on your way
World.
there. It's in downtown Las Vegas.
But anyway, something with a nice view, atmosphere that we can just kind of chill and talk. Then after that, it'd be a nice dinner. I'm a big restaurant guy.
Nice dinner, $100 a person.
You would probably be like a nice dinner, like Firefly. Like that place is nice. But won't break the bank.
And then afterwards.
And then afterwards, then it would be like the nicer dinner. Maybe one of the nice.
Like
one of the premier steakhouses.
The same date. I said 3 things. You said bar, dinner, and then.
Oh, you mean like in the first
day?
night?
Yeah.
In the first night? Yeah. It would be there, and then I don't know. Maybe
painting.
How you know? It's already nighttime. You're going from the bar, like everything else is closed.
Then you go home and Netflix and chill?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Sorry, I have to share this. Scott Bessent is this is from Politico. So Pulte, who's the guy who's at the head of housing, I think, right? He appeared stunned, and the tense encounter prompted club co-owner and financier Omid Malik to intervene, according to but Bessent wasn't having it. He sought to get him kicked out. It's either me or him, said Bessent. You tell me who's getting the fuck out of here, or, he added, we could go outside. To do what, Pulte asked. To talk. No, Bessent said, I'm going to beat your ass. So apparently there's some beef happening in the Trump administration. Our Treasury of Secretary is an absolute G.
So who's he trying to fight?
So Bessent, Treasury Secretary, is trying to kick the ass of the guy who heads up the housing sector. Yeah. So be careful, man. Be careful what you say about Scott Bessent on air. He might come after you and beat that ass. All right, let's get into the markets, and we'll talk about a little macro after. Rob, show me the altcoins.
All right, so going down the list again, MYX Finance. What is this? This is now in my top 10. Is this
no idea what the hell that is.
Number 50. Yeah, this is gonna be a glitch. This is one of those.
It's not a.
This is one of those coin market cap interesting promos, right?
No, it's 840% in 7 days.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Well, we'll look at this. Anyways, WorldCoin. I know you got some WorldCoin news for us today. Yeah. WorldCoin is up 40% just in the 24 hours, up 68% on the week. Look at this week chart here. So from 80 cents to that $1.40, you look back on the 1 month, we did see it about a month ago at $1. So here we are at $1.50. And then you can see that it did do pretty well during that December run that altcoins put in highs, maybe not all-time highs. We got as high as $4. Damn. So could this be that breakout we're looking for? I think they scrapped that stupid eye orb thing.
Now they do an eye orb for men, the third eye. We all have a third eye, they say. No, it's Greek mythology. You don't follow Greek mythology? What? Okay, anyways, go ahead.
Could somebody in the chat explain to him what a third eye means for a man? He does no idea.
I know what it means, you idiot. Heard it's a smooth. Okay, I'm done. Just go. Come on, just continue.
All right. Pudgy Penguins up 18%.
Thank you.
So Pudgy Penguins up almost a full 20%, not only in the 24 hours, but the last 7 days. But
you play the clip from last week where Rob said, just kidding, we don't have that clip. That would have been nice if I had it, didn't we?
Yeah, so from that 28 cents up to 34, so
2.8 cents.
Or yeah, excuse me.
It will get to 28 cents though, for sure.
Although you look here on the 1 year, and it just doesn't go back a year because it's still pretty new. But we did see it as low as half a penny, even lower than that.
Yeah,
look at it now.
Remember last week? Said I bought some for the company portfolio, and you gave me that look.
I didn't even say anything. I just think you wanted me to jump up and down and clap.
You said really. Pengu. I was like, yep.
Anyways, so we started off the show highlighting Dogecoin being up 13% on the week. You look at the top gainers on the 24 hours. You got Pudgy Penguins and Bonk in here as well.
And SPX, Rob.
Also, you got
SPX 6900. That's a meme coin.
Yeah, and but Farcoin in here. So
and Flucky. What? That's the top gainers in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And how many of those are meme coins? One,
all
two,
but three.
5 are meme coins.
All but 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which
what does that tell you?
When, you know what it tells me? You look at Bitcoin here consolidating. You look at Solana up 8% on the 7 days. Solana right now is up 6.5% in the 24 hours. Like, look at the top 10. The closest thing the only thing that's performing better than Solana currently in the 24 hours is Dogecoin. I think what you're about to see is the altcoins straight rip. And what's going to rip the hardest? It would be Farcoin. I think that Farcoin in the Solana ecosystem is, I'm telling you, dude. Oh, what's the market cap on this thing?
Fart?
Will you pull up a chart on Farcoin?
Yeah.
Have you ever pulled up a chart on Farcoin?
I have.
But, I mean, it's not even at $1 billion market cap. I think that this thing will rival Pepe.
What do you want to see?
Yeah, just take a peek at it. Because, yeah, Pepe is sitting at a $4 billion market cap, which would give this thing about a 5X from where we're at now. Is there a 5X in the cards for Fartcoin?
What is that, $4? It's $4. Well, here's your price action, right? Got up to as high as $2.80. And it's kind of been choppy, consolidating, trending down. But this is a falling channel, and we know what falls rises. Right?
Do farts fall or rise?
Farts depends on the location.
You said Fartcoin it's gonna rip.
It's gonna rip. That's like her favorite. Would you be devastated if one day you came in and that sound effect was no longer there?
I would add it back.
I mean, look at something similar that happened, right? This was back in June. You had a falling channel, and then what happened? Fartcoin breaks out, retests, and then gains 85%. You have something similar. And right now, what you're watching on the daily is an official breakout with increased volume. Now, the important thing is that, well, obviously, the candle hasn't closed, 5.5 hours left. I expect a retest like we had here, and then potentially enter a long if you're looking to make money on this on a swing trade. And so from a TA standpoint, I think the trend is about to reverse. And then one thing I also like to look at on trend reversals is market cipher A to see if we can get that triangle. This is pretty accurate, right? If you have market cipher, which if you don't, you should. It's the best indicator in the space. You get these purple triangles. Usually signifies whatever trend was in place prior to that triangle, that trend is going to flip and go the opposite way. And so nothing here, right? We're obviously in a downtrend. Would love to see one of those purple triangles to kind of confirm that, hey, we got the breakout, increased volume. Maybe we get it on the retest, maybe we don't. But either way, from a price action standpoint, I think Fart looks good. Not anything I'd enter now. I'd, again, wait for that retest and see if this thing even closes above that trend line or if it just sneaks back into that pattern there.
Yeah, I pulled up the Pepe chart here. I think, this is early days of Pepe where it initially came out at lots of zeros. Anyways, it came out, dipped down, had a couple bounces, people made money, and then that happened. And then we were off to the races. And then yet again here, you see this was back in 2024. So when you were really in the middle of that, we're right at scraping that bear market, or coming out of the bear market. You know, we saw time and time again, people wrote this off and then it just kind of just full sended there. So I don't know. I think you could see something similar out of.
Would you rather hold Fartcoin or Pengu?
I mean, long term, it would definitely be Pengu, but I don't know. I think if you told me, hey, you can hold one for 3 months, I would be Fartcoin all
Be
day.
farting everywhere?
I think by December, I think Fartcoin is going to absolutely kill it. I think once Solana breaks over that whatever number it's at right now, Solana like almost 220,
The greatest number.
215. Once Solana gets up into that $300, that's when you're going to make stupid money on fart.
All right. May the fart be with you. Let's talk about WorldCoin. No more orbs. WorldCoin token goes vertical amid 8 holdings, new treasury inclusion. They're buying a lot, $250 million to buy WLD token. Now, Treasury's been saying it, said it to Patreon. I gave a list of projects that I believe are going to get treasuries. And I'm curious, Rob, if we look from numbers 20 to number 50, okay? I'm just going to name them off, and you tell me if you think they're going to get a treasury, okay? We already have Litecoin. We already have Kronos. You think Polkadot gets a treasury?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of presence on Wall Street
You think
now, and so.
You think Uniswap gets one? No? I disagree. I think Uniswap does get one. World Liberty Finance, I think we can both agree it kind of already has one. You think a Pepe will get one? And don't laugh, because Doge, I believe, already has one, or there's one in the works. And Pepe is a very well branded meme coin. You think Pepe gets a treasury? It sounds kind of absurd, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But here's my question for all of these. I think the treasuries are extremely dangerous for our space, because you're likely to buy those OTC, but I think
you sell them on the market.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably and you probably even if you do it in a responsible way, you're gonna buy them OTC and then you're gonna just layer out and just crush the order books over time. Eventually, you're gonna sell. I think none of these companies are gonna hold any of this for eternity. The only thing you can really argue about would be
Bitcoin,
Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum, Chainlink, or something like that. But everything else is just going to get dumped on the markets. And will there be a large percentage that do sell back OTC? Sure, yeah, I agree. But I think that you have a giant potential for these to get sold on the market or on the order books, because that's where you're going to get your best profit if you can layer out, right? If you can DCA out. And then on top of that, if you just need to rebalance, you're just going to just sell those really quickly on big chunks. I don't know. I think I don't like it, man. I genuinely don't like it.
I've said I think that is what's going to, Three Arrows Capital back in March 2022 was the very first small sliver of the beginning of the bear market. And then FTX, or not FTX, was it Block or Celsius? That was like the big catalyst. And then Luna, or before Luna was before, and then FTX was like the nail in the coffin, 16K Bitcoin, and that was it. I think we'll see at least one treasury company go under and be forced to sell their holdings, or something happens and they're forced to sell their holdings, and that's going to start a cascading effect, and that's what's going to be the beginnings of a brutal bear market if it happens. So we'll see. I'm looking at updates on this freaking JavaScript thing, man. This thing is pretty crazy. A big company got 40 million of ETH. Swissborg experienced an incident a few hours ago, and almost 200,000 Solana was stolen, Rob. This is pretty big, you guys. Be careful. If you don't know what I'm talking about, rewind to the beginning of the show. There was an exploit on all JavaScript. So if it's a hardware wallet or you're doing something on chain, either don't do anything, don't do any transactions, just lay back, sit back until they find a fix, or double, triple, quadruple check every letter and number on where the money is going if you're going to be doing any transactions. So just proceed with caution, you guys. Proceed with caution. I do want to give an update here. So these are the SEC final deadlines. In just under 1 month, we're going to get the final, what's the word I'm looking for? The final ruling on whether the Litecoin ETF is going to get approved. That's on the 2nd of October. Next after that is Solana on the 10th. XRP on the 17th, Dogecoin on the 17th, Cardano on the 23rd. This is all happening in October. And so this kind of, Rob, is in line with what we typically see in cycles. October, November, very bullish. October, in the middle of it, we could have a Litecoin, a Solana, an XRP, Doge, Cardano, ETFs.
Crypto bros right now.
Protect yourself. What are those things, by the way? All right.
What's going on in France?
Les France?
Did you see that?
What's happening?
Did you see
I have no idea what happened.
I don't know, man.
Did Emmanuel Macron
here's here, like, check this out. Polymarket breaking. French government has collapsed. I'm like, that's interesting.
What?
Then Kobayashi letter. On another historic move, the French government has just collapsed for the second time this year.
What?
And
What do you mean?
down.
Collapse?
I don't know. That's why I asked you. Breaking. This is from Bernie. The French government collapses. And here's a. This is probably in French, I'm assuming, but.
A victory for the popular.
What
we did today, i.e., overthrow a government, is a victory for the popular mobilization during the summer. In 2 days, we will have a major
Is it like a coup or something?
Something like that. I don't know. I don't know enough about the politics over there, but.
Interesting.
Don't know. I got no context. I was just asking.
Okay. Oh, no, I haven't heard.
Just wondering. Okay.
Yeah. Power to le France. All right, that'll do it for the show today. Thank you all very much. Got a Cardano video coming out in 10 minutes. Make sure to go watch that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That's all I got. Gina, roll the outro. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Come back tomorrow, same place, same time. Until then,
Cash is cool, yeah. Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger turn